What's going on, everybody? Thanks for downloading the Voice of Bedlam podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Sanscoro. Got the full VOB crew here today. We got Devil John, Sean Bedlam, and King Kojo on the phones. How you guys doing?
I'm feeling a little red, and I got this like other brightness going on today.
Yeah, you're all types of colors, man.
Yeah, this is I wrestled a bear once, so I thought I'd give them a shout out because I got this cool ignorant shirt. But how are you doing down there, Sean?
With your ignorant shirt, you got a casualty. You rocking the casualty.
I always rock the casualties, man. If you see the video of the show, I wear like 4 different shirts pretty much all the time. I'm doing good though, man. Like, it's another Tuesday. It's good to be back. Let's talk football.
So yeah, and also let's start a Kickstarter to get him more T-shirts. How you doing over there, Mr. Kojo?
Never better, guys. Never better. I am sitting in my nice air-conditioned room while you guys are in a hot attic, so I'm not going to sit here and complain.
Actually, it's not that hot up here. We got a fan
the fan's
going.
blowing right on me.
Wow.
We got air conditioning.
I'm getting a fan job right now.
We're decked out. We got air conditioners.
Yeah, we're moving on up.
Ion fans and yeah.
We're moving on.
All right, but
you know what's also moving on? The times and how we spend money online. And what I'm talking about is cryptocurrency. For the listeners that have been listening for a little while, you know what I'm talking about. But you know what? I'm going to reiterate just because I don't think you're checking it out. Cryptocurrency is the growing way that you're going to be spending online, and it's going to be accepted in so many different countries. So take yourself over to the link in the description that you see on your screen or in the description in the audio section to learn more about this growing trend.
Absolutely.
But also, I feel like I'm being long-winded, but I guess let's get right into our daily breakdown then.
All right, well, I'm sure everybody's heard. It's the biggest news. Aqib Talib,
yeah.
Defensive back for the defending champions, Denver Broncos, was shot in the leg in a club over the weekend. A lot of holes in the story. Now, John did a full article of it up at the site voiceofbedlam.com. Get over there, click it. What's the title of the article, John?
I said Aqib because actually it was funny because I called it Aqib caught in the heat of the moment. And the reason why I did that for 2 little punnies, okay? One, he actually said that in a quote when he poked Dwayne Allen in the eye, the Colts tight end last year.
That.
So,
that was in week 1, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, he poked him in the eye, and he got suspended for that. And I also brought up the situation where he got 2 personal fouls, a face masking and a taunting in the Super Bowl, which luckily, not like the Colts game, it didn't cost them the game. Okay, but obviously, they won that Super Bowl, but he made some questionable calls, which he made a questionable call.
Yeah, he did not have a great game.
Yeah,
Talib did not have a great game.
He had a solid performance for their defense. He had 5 tackles and he had 2 big breakups in the pass game that could have potentially, maybe changed that momentum in that game.
But wasn't he going to be the GOAT in that game at some point? Didn't he blow pretty big? I don't remember the details, but I know.
Yeah, Talib
was.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the veteran leader there, and not only that, he's they gave him a 6-year contract, and he's a live wire. That's the only way I can describe him, just because he's so aggressive on the field, and he makes a lot of stupid calls when he's in the heat of the moment, which as cheesy as it is, it's as cheesy. His mentality is as cheesy as the Asia pop song, In the Heat of the Moment. Yeah, you're just as cheesy, sir. You need to grow up. You are a professional. And not only that, at this Dallas nightclub, he got shot as well as somebody else got shot.
There's a bunch of different things. There's one scenario out there where he pulled a Plexico Burress, and then there's him, which made the headlines today. Talib was too drunk to remember who shot him. in the club.
which
That's what he says.
I think
He's
that's
too
a
drunk.
cop out. I think it's a
well,
cop out
yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't know about
he doesn't-
y'all. There's very
What?
few times I've drinking myself to the point I can't remember.
Especially being shot.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah, I think I would remember
oh
being
my
shot.
gosh.
That would be sobering.
Yeah,
Very
what
good.
is
right.
he trying to hide though? Like, what is the embarrassing
Well,
thing
maybe he just
that
doesn't want to
can't
be a
have out
snitch,
there?
or he shot himself.
Correct.
It's one or the other.
Well, why wouldn't he want to snitch? Like, I mean, maybe it's just something that he doesn't want to take it to the next level. He actually realizes, like, hey, you know what? I don't really need to get into some big, long legal dispute. I'm a professional football player. Why am I jeopardizing my $1 million career?
I think he shot
by-
himself like Plexico.
Gary Kubiak did address the media whenever it was a couple days after.
I think that was today.
Was it
Mini
today?
camp. Mini
It was-
camp
it was a
opened
mini
up
camp?
for Denver today.
Yeah, Kubiak wasn't really descriptive in what happened. He kind of left a lot of questions unanswered. They asked about Talib's condition, and they said he's not going to give that out. They're just going to kind of wait it out and move on from it after he's back in minicamp, or who knows how long it's going to actually take him to get back into minicamp. Maybe he'll be ready by training camp, because obviously being shot in the leg, he's going to miss some time.
All right, now we're gonna get things right over to the Broncos again, but we got to tell you about one of our sponsors this week, and that is Audible. If you want to listen to free, interesting movies and books, try Audible's 30-day trial and join Audible today. You can enjoy your first listen free. Of course, if you don't like audiobooks, then you can exchange it for another free. So what are you waiting for? Visit audibletrial.com today. That's audibletrial.com to get your free 30-day trial rolling.
Like I said, man, I love Stephen King, but I'd rather listen to it.
Now,
Sometimes.
we're going to get right back over. We're going to keep going with the Broncos here. And Brock Osweiler passed on going to the White House. Brock Osweiler now with the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
He, the customary trip to the White House. Now, Osweiler signed a 4-year, $72 million deal with Houston in March. And he didn't go to the thing because, he said OTAs were more important. He's a starting quarterback of a new team. And you know what? That's the damn right move. And even though that's just the politically correct thing to say, I think part of it is kind of like, screw the Broncos. What do you
I think he would have got a pass just because, it's like, we understand going into this that you won the Super Bowl and that you get that trip to meet the president and get honored for winning the Super Bowl. So with that being said, you also have to understand that how he was treated over there in Denver with the sheriff, which I brought up in the article as one of the salty things that the Broncos organization has done. So check out the article at voiceofbedlam.com and read more. But they treated this man as if he was leftover garbage, and they waited for Captain Noodles, as I would call him, but everybody likes to call him Sheriff. So how about we call him Sheriff Noodles? All right. So Sheriff
can't mess with the Panthers, man.
Yeah, well, Sheriff Noodles rode off into the sunset, leaving Brock Osweiler with a rotten taste in his mouth because the organization left him with nothing but a rotten taste in his mouth because of the way that they handled it. Oh, we're going to wait to see what Peyton Manning's going to do.
Yeah, see, he was quoted at NFL.com saying, if there was no OTAs today, I would have gone to the White House. It would have been a tremendous experience. And I'm sure that's semi-true, but I think some of it is, the fact of how they did him dirty.
But don't you also get fined for missing mandatories and things like that?
You're right. This would have been mandatory. Yeah, but he said if there was no,
if there was none. So then, he was possibly thinking about also being fined and setting the rapport with his teammates. He's like, that's my old team. Yeah, we won. I could go with them and hang out with them and say what's up, but I'm on your team now. So it could be many things. It's left to speculation. That's for sure.
Now, I mean, these guys gave him $37 million up front, that being the Houston Texans. And Osweiler said, I believe that every single practice, every single rep, every single meeting I can get in this new offseason is the most important thing for myself and my teammates right now. He went 5-2 last year with the Broncos when he was filling in for Manning. As you said, he threw for almost 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, but 6 picks. So, Colin, what do you see going on here? I mean, we got some more Broncos things to come in with this also, but what do you think about Osweiler being at the Texans, the $37 million? I mean, he sounds he's working his mouth right. He's saying all the right things. If I was a Texans fan, I'd be happy about what he was saying, but do you buy into it?
I mean, if I was a Texans fan, I would have no problem him visiting the White House because he was a part of that team. Like, you need to go see your ex-girlfriend's parents. She's not going to be there, but you got to maintain your duties, and why don't you just celebrate your past right now? I don't really mind if he were to have gone, but I also feel like Texans fans want it to go away after this and make sure that Brock Osweiler knows, you're with us now. But I don't think, if I was a Texans fan, if you guys were Texans fans, would you have any problem with him going?
I would like it better if he didn't go, if there was practice. I wouldn't care if he went if there was no practice, but if he's going to be the starter, I think everything needs to be done.
They just paid him a lot of money to
$37 million up front.
Yeah, it's $72 million over 4 years. If I'm a Texans fan, I could probably get past the fact that he went to the White House, but at the same time, he's going to be learning a whole new offense under new coaching with a new set of teammates. So he's got to learn everything he needs to learn. They paid him a lot of money to be their guy in Houston. So, kudos to him, I guess, for skipping out on going to visit the president and actually sitting there and learning to play football and earning his contract, so to speak.
We're going to get back over to Mile High, talk about them meeting with Obama. Obama made now this is the last time he's going to meet a team. Do you know what I mean? Because his term will be over. But Obama made special mention of their fierce defense, Denver's fierce defense, and he had some fun with Peyton Manning, calling out some Omahas and stuff like that. And Obama was quoted as saying, last year was a high watermark with a 3rd Super Bowl trophy and a dominating win over Carolina. That doesn't mean that it wasn't always pretty. Coaches acknowledge that this is a gritty group and a hard-nosed grinders. Last season, the Broncos won NFL 11 games by a touchdown or less, and you don't do that without one of the greatest defenses of all time. That was Obama's quote. But he was having some fun with Manning, talking about how he will endorse anything. And he said, and then there's this guy from the commercials. No matter what you need, insurance, pizza, a Buick, you can stack your whole house with stuff this guy is selling. You know where to turn. It's Peyton Manning. So he was making fun of, the Denver's Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, good, because honestly, I'm getting a little sick and tired of seeing him. He's done with football.
John's like, screw Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I'm not
Sheriff Noodle Arm.
Sheriff Noodles.
Hey, my team didn't get beat by a noodle arm in the Super Bowl. That's all I know.
No.
Peyton Manning didn't beat anybody in the Super Bowl.
No,
let's be honest.
That's true. That's true. All right, but we're going to move on over to the Vikings, who locked up Harrison Smith, making him the highest paid safety in the game with a 5-year deal worth $51.2 gross salary
nice
and $28.5 guaranteed, with $10 million due at signing. He would have played under the team's 5th-year option, but at the end of the year then he would have been an unrestricted free agent, and they didn't want to let it get it that far, and they just locked him up now, making him the highest paid safety in the game. What do you think of the Vikings' moves? I mean, they did win the North last year. Kind of like nobody realizes or remembers that the Redskins won the East. The Vikings did win the North.
I disagree because no one will remember that the Redskins won the East people are going to remember the Vikings because they're going to come back and they might even win that division again this year.
Okay. All right,
Because
Sean.
the Vikings,
Wow.
the Vikings are no joke. Like the Redskins only won that division because every other team in the East was garbage. I mean, I hate to say it, but if with the Cowboys, if
they had
Romo
yeah.
and Bryant were
or even
healthy,
just Romo.
were healthy,
Yeah, Romo
the
would help
Cowboys
big
probably would have won that division. The Redskins are not going to win that division again, but the Vikings. I have them winning the North. If I had to pick division winners, I got the Vikings winning the North again this year.
All right, well, in Harrison Smith's 4 years pro, he has 300 total tackles, 12 INTs, 4 of them for picks, 26 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles, and 5.5 sacks. Now, he's the only person to be that high in every sack group since 2012, and he really came on when Mike Zimmer got there 2 years ago. You know, he's just a defensive mastermind, and you got Smith in the prime of his career at age 27.
Yep.
Anybody got anything else on the Vikings they want to throw in there? NFC North, anything like that?
Honestly, you know, I see them repeating the division.
So we got 2 for the Vikings repeating, right?
Yeah.
And now I got to stick with Green Bay.
Green Bay's gonna have to see how Jordy Nelson comes back after that
It's
injury.
gonna be
Absolutely,
a
and he's
tough
30, and
division
he's
to
30.
win. It's gonna be a tough division to win. It's really only gonna be between Minnesota and Green Bay. Detroit's not doing anything this year. Chicago's not doing anything either. It's gonna be between those 2 teams again, like it was last year.
I'm still waiting for Teddy Bridgewater to take that step forward that we thought was going to happen this
last
past
year,
year and completely failed to. He just became, a game manager quarterback.
He had problems
and
throwing
game
the
manager
ball last year.
game manager quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls.
I'm
They'll
not
make the
saying
playoffs.
I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but
I'm with you.
the Vikings, I think they're going to take the North again this year.
Now, Colin, if you really want to see Teddy Bridgewater take that next step and you're all the way out in Philly with him playing in Minnesota, man, you're only going to get that with DirecTV. And you can get DirecTV at 855-668-9061. That's 855-668-9061. Get over there, get the early bird special with the NFL Sunday Ticket Max, whole 9 yards, red zone, fantasy live, all that stuff. Every out of market game is great. So, Colin, if you really want to see Bridgewater take that next step, because I think John and Sean think he will, because I can't see him winning the division if he doesn't, you're going to need to get DirecTV at 855-668-9061.
Join us.
All right. But with all the negative stuff that's going on in the NFL and all the bad reports, every now and then it's good to throw out a little feel-good story and make you remember that some of the people getting $1 million to play are doing good things with it. One of those people is the NFL's second most feared player, according to the other players, that being Rob Gronkowski. Now, Gronk shaved his head to help support kids with cancer while participating in One Mission Buzz Off Kids with Cancer. I guess that's the name of the charity. And, so Gronk shaved his head. He's done it in the past. But, I mean, it all goes towards cancer, and it's a good way to get some awareness out there because I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but kids' cancer, only something like 8% of the money donated to cancer actually goes to children.
Wow.
With cancer.
That's
so,
ridiculous.
it is really good to get charities like One Mission Buzz Off for
Buzz
kids
off
with
for
cancer.
kids with cancer.
Yeah, but it's One Mission Buzz Off for kids with cancer. That's kind of
that's a long title. But
remember it.
I donated my hair when I used to have hair down to about my underneath my chest area. I donated to Locks of Love because I was like, it's really hot. And not only that, when I was walking down the street, this guy whistled at me, and I heard "Mira, mira," and and then I looked over and I was like, "What's up, man?" and then all you heard was.
That's a
Quit wearing
dude.
girl jeans, John.
That's a dude.
Hey man, I can't help it that I got a badonkadonk for a white dude. My hips don't lie and the guys want them bad.
all right.
But they can't have it.
We went from a nice feel-good story about
Something very weird.
helping children with cancer to John's hips. How that happened, I have
Hey
no
man,
idea.
that guy, he sped off and I cut my hair literally 3 days later.
All right. But just one other quick thing. If you guys want to get to any of these games, if you want to see Gronk playing up in Foxborough or wherever it is you live, you guys got to hit up Ticket Software LLC at 866-853-3454. Now, they got tickets to 83,000 worldwide events. So Sam Stocks out there in the UK, he wants to get some tickets to Man U or something like that, he can get them right from Ticket Software LLC at 866-853-3454. Now, talking about going to stadiums, one stadium that's getting brought up a lot is one in Orchard Park, and that is because Goodell is saying the Bills need to upgrade their stadium if they want to stay in Ralph Wilson Stadium. Now, the stadium opened in 1973 and has done about $130 million or so in rate of renovations dating back to 2014.
Wow.
But according to reports, it was all just little band-aids, and the stadium is a wreck. Now, Goodell said...
Well, think about the weather conditions. And,
so rough.
So, like...
Yeah, Buffalo, Orchard Park.
Yeah, you almost have to, like, rebar the seats just to make sure that they stay and they don't get frozen and,
That's what I'm saying.
broken
like
off.
$130 million sounds like a lot of money, but when you see how much money went into Jerry World and MetLife Stadium, you could tell you couldn't really repair one of those stadiums with $130 million.
$130 million since 2014, though. That's $130 million going back only 2 years.
You know what, though?
That's a lot of money. That doesn't sound like a Band-Aid to me.
Not with the way stadiums are, though.
Stadiums are almost always going to be around 500, 600, 700 million to build now. Jerry World, I mean, obviously is the exception. That was 1.3 or 4 billion, I want to say.
That's what I'm saying. So you put that
Jones
in comparison, but see, the Giants are right behind that somewhere, though. Do you know what I mean? The Giants spent almost as much, and so when you're talking about the billions, 130 million. I mean, that's nothing.
See what happens is, where do they go to play? You know, that they still get that advantage that they get when you play in Buffalo. You know, because they're gonna have to relocate to play.
Not moving
so
anywhere. They're gonna.
Well, they're gonna have to relocate somewhere if they tear demolition.
Somewhere else and
they have new owners. But
the 1973, you're talking about a 40-something-year-old stadium. It's not like it's Lambeau either. You know what I mean? So
Lambeau Field has undergone a lot of renovations. I was just there last year. It is beautiful now. It doesn't look old.
But the Packers are never moving out of Lambeau.
Well, that's what the Yankees thought too, and then they kind of redid their thing. I know it's different. And also, I just looked up U.S. Bank Stadium, the new Viking Stadium, which I believe is opening up this season, guys. Just for an example, $1.061 billion is the overall estimated budget. That is just today's football stadiums. Yeah. There's only 130 is only a tenth of that, really. Yeah.
There's only so many Band-Aids you could put on a stadium, though, before eventually it gets to a point.
No, he hasn't been healthy for 16 games since we let him go. So I don't agree with the decision, and I don't know. I was kind of indifferent to it at the time. But Deshaun Jackson is not, he's talented. Don't get me wrong. But if you can't stay healthy, then you're not helping your team.
Now, Colin, Mr. Josh Gordon got picked up by them Redskins. Now, how much does that strengthen that secondary?
A ton.
With one player?
Great analysis.
It's not what John wanted
analysis.
Yeah, sorry, John, but he's not Byron Maxwell. He's not a complete stiff who just got overpaid because he was the sexiest name on the market. He's actually shown a thing or two and was in the last 2 seasons cornerstone of a Super Bowl playing defense. Obviously, we've had this discussion. I think Kuechly is the quarterback of that defensive troop there, but Josh Norman has shown that he's got skill, and I think that's going to take their Redskins mediocre defense and make it great. I don't think that.
See, I think that he's going to be exposed a lot because I don't think that defensive line's that good there in Washington. And not only that, I don't think that the linebacker core is as good at getting the pressure as Carolina's linebacking core. So given those two things, a tough defensive front and a hard-hitting linebacking core, if you're not putting the pressure there, you're gonna give quarterbacks more time to look down the field and make a better play.
Yeah.
So
honestly, we'll know a lot more about Josh Norman after the couple first games. I know you guys mentioned, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
He's got Odell, he's got Antonio Brown, he's got Dez Bryant, all within these first couple weeks. Like, let's save our conversation on Josh Norman and his ability to take the Redskins defense to the next level until after those first 4 games. We can definitely learn a lot at that time.
But before
Definitely.
we get moved on here with the next team, let's do a little rate of Colin. What are you doing, my man?
What's going
Is your
on?
house haunted?
Yeah, what
Is
are
your
all
house
those
haunted?
noises?
yeah, right.
I'm
Like-
leaving my house, going on an adventure.
Were you like washing dishes or something? Because I swear I heard water.
Wait,
running.
are you serious?
Like,
Yes.
That's exactly what I was
Oh, what
doing.
just
That is
happened?
exactly what I was
But
doing when I was.
it was like
in that
nails
At
on
least you're
the-
domesticated. Your girlfriend will be proud of
But
you.
before we move on with the 4-minute hut, we got to do a little radio reset here and welcome back the YouTube viewers. But just so they know what's going on, we're doing a new segment of a 4-minute hut, breaking down all the strengths and weaknesses, division by division. Colin just went on about the Skins. If you want to hear it, you'll have to go to voiceofbedlam.com and listen to the audio podcast. But now, let's move on over with everyone, YouTube included. John, tell me about them boys.
Well, them boys are struggling, and especially last year, you know, they were expected to do big things, and then their 2 biggest people on that squad, being Dez Bryant and their leader, Tony Romo, went out. All right. Now, Dez Bryant came back, and, you know, because I picked him up in fantasy. I had him more on the injured. Yeah, I picked him up. Because I honestly, I was thinking about it because regular season Tony Romo is a good quarterback. Postseason Tony Romo, not a good quarterback. All right. But talking about the strengths of this team, now their running back core went from worst to first, in my opinion. They got a young guy. They also have, you know, a little bit of a banged up Alfred Morris there, but
He's been on a downslope.
yeah, but they also,
Yeah,
you
Zeke
know,
Elliott.
they have Darren McFadden still there.
He played
he's
nice.
he's a little bit banged up, but he played very nice last year.
What
Yes.
was that, Colin?
He was top 5 in total rushing yards last year.
Exactly. So
Pretty impressive about that
So
line.
with that offensive line, it's left to great speculation of who's going to emerge, or does it matter who's going to emerge, and they're going to be
they
a
got that
well-established running game.
They got that line.
Exactly.
So you're saying their strength is definitely going to be the running game?
that running game is their strength. Now, I would say something, you know, you could say something about the wide receivers, but I'm going to read off, you know, their top 3. All right, top 3 wide receivers here. Okay,
Yeah, well-
Terrence Williams. Okay, you got Dez Bryant, and then the close third is a Cole Beasley.
Beasley, yeah.
I don't like Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley.
A lot of people don't.
Cole Beasley is he's one of those.
He's all
like
right, though. He's a little slot
He
guy.
is.
He's
He
5'8".
is.
He's a little slot guy.
He played the Eagles. I don't remember which game
He's
it was
good in the red
exactly.
zone. He gets some
The
scores.
Eagles.
He put up 120 yards and 2 touchdowns against us. I remember because I played him in fantasy.
He's like, it's almost like he was. Why does the name escape me? He was like Danny Woodhead, or like not Danny Woodhead.
Julian Edelman out of the slot.
or Wes Welker.
Wes Welker.
Or one of those type of little white guy that just all of a sudden out of nowhere caught probably 10 balls and put up 2 scores. Like, he killed us in that game. And yeah, I mean,
He
like
has
they
games like
have
that, though.
the Cowboys do have weapons in
But
the
to John's
passing game,
point,
too.
Cole Beasley actually is a bum who barely has a job in the NFL. The Eagles couldn't cover anybody last year.
Yeah. So
In my opinion, the Eagles could have made you and me, Sean, look pretty good lining up in the slot against them last year, I think.
yeah.
Hell, I'm taller than Cole Beasley.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exactly what I'm saying. You know, and these safeties are averaging around like 6 foot at most. So, you know, you're talking about guys that are towering over him and that can just jump over and catch that ball. especially if they're good enough to be put into that position, to make that play. So he has to do those quick slot plays in order to get play in this league. So that's their strength. Their running game, like I said, because you look at their passing game and there's a lot of question marks. So Terrence Williams and Dez Bryant is a good starting point, though. I'm not going to lie. So it's not
Absolutely.
completely. It's
not everybody's
lost.
number 3 is going to be
exactly.
With them two is number 1 and number 2. Beasley is not a bad number 3. When you got, Williams is pretty underrated or at least unnoticed.
Yeah.
Like he gets production. You got to know where Williams is on the field. Of course, priority number 1 is Dez Bryant.
Yes.
But you can't sleep on Williams.
So,
sure, he gets a lot more opportunities because people are paying more attention to Dez, but you got to keep an eye on Williams.
Yeah, so when you're talking about, when I mentioned those 3 running backs, those are 3 strong names. Yeah, one has a question mark because he hasn't played a pro game yet, Ezekiel Elliott, but if he continues the trend that he was doing in college, these Cowboys are going to be disgusting next year, especially this running game. But to talk about their weaknesses, I think that the weakness is honestly going to be, and I know this is going to, it was a toss-up for me, all right? I was going to say the defense. Just overall, because they just have so many holes scattered about that they need to address a lot of that. But the biggest weakness, and it's not really it's a strong weakness right now because it's questionable. But let me get to it. It's the quarterback situation. All right, is Tony Romo going to be?
And Connor Barwin up front. No, that's front 4. That's gonna definitely get to the quarterback. So you're talking about Connor Barwin and Fletcher Cox coming off the edge. Fletcher Cox, I'm looking for him to have a big season. I'm going to give him probably 10 plus sacks this year. And then a linebacking core of Michael Kendricks, Jordan Hicks. I hope, and according to Tim McManus, Jordan Hicks has been where he needs to be all mini camp so far. He's exactly where he needs to be 100% of the time. And then your other linebacker will be Brandon Graham, coming off a big contract. He didn't produce all that much last year, but he did put up decent numbers. And he's definitely a good linebacker. So that front 7 as a whole, as a group, is going to be definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Benny Logan is the name you're missing as well.
I said Benny Logan.
Did you say Benny Logan?
I said Benny Logan. Yeah. Benny Logan, Vinny Curry, Fletcher Cox, and Connor Barwin on the front 4, Brandon Graham, Michael Kendricks, and Jordan Hicks on the linebacking core. Now Malcolm Jenkins definitely proved he could play. He could play safety for the Eagles. He basically took over that defense last year. He became kind of like the. I don't want to say the heir apparent for Brian Dawkins, but he definitely showed leadership skills that the Eagles didn't have before with guys like Nate Allen and Patrick Chung. You're talking about a huge upgrade there. And Malcolm Jenkins wasn't even the most highly touted free agent when the Eagles went out and signed him. You're talking about Jarris Byrd there, and then he's done nothing down there in New Orleans. And then he's playing across from Rodney McLeod, coming out of St. Louis, the free agent the Eagles signed. That safety tandem is going to be pretty good as well.
Sean,
what's up?
I agree with you that the Eagles' defense will likely be their strength. But are you willing to bet on it just because of a coaching change in one or two personnel moves? They were a really bad defense last year.
Well,
now,
they started off, but I blame that most. I don't even necessarily want to sit here and point fingers. personnel-wise, the Eagles weren't as strong as they were this year. Last year, Kiko Alonso was suspect. He was injured.
Yeah.
Byron
I didn't
Maxwell
want to be disrespectful.
Byron Maxwell was garbage. I'm not saying Leotis McKelvin or Rodney
Rowe
Eric. Yeah, I forgot about Eric Rowe. He was a first-year player. I'm looking for Eric Rowe. He's probably not going to be a starter, but you might see him getting in a few snaps. Maybe he becomes a nickel corner because he showed that he can actually make plays in the NFL. But going back to last year, Billy Davis is not even that good of a defensive coordinator. Jim Schwartz is actually a good defensive coordinator.
That's putting it kindly that Billy Davis wasn't that good.
All right, Billy Davis, you suck. Then I'll put it less.
Oh, you know what though? Honestly, and I mean this, and I mean this in the true sense of the statement, with all due respect.
Insert insult.
Insult here. I thought the strength of the team for you guys is that you're in a rebuilding phase. And that the weakness,
are we
new GM,
I've had this
new coach, quarterback controversy.
I've had this conversation
and your weakness,
with Colin
and your weaknesses,
multiple
your whole
times
team.
because I'm not sure whether
the weakness is the whole team.
I'm not just going to ignore that one. I've had this conversation with Colin many times. Like I'm not really sure where the Eagles are rebuilding or they're trying to win now.
Well, no, they're not trying to win now. What squad they got?
If they were trying to rebuild, they would have never re-signed Sam Bradford.
They're not renovating, they're retrofitting. They're not completely undoing what they've done. In fact, they locked up every single young talented player that
except
they had.
Fletcher Cox.
Because they cut everybody else.
Except
But you'll
Fletcher,
likely be next to come, and
hopefully,
they're securing their future with the players that they've already had for 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years. So I don't
wasn't
think
everybody complaining about Howie
rebuilding.
Roseman? Wasn't everybody complaining about Howie Roseman before Chip Kelly took over, though?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't T.O. sitting in the sidewalk, sitting in the driveway,
that has
doing his
more to
sit-ups?
do with the fact that his drafting capabilities in past years has been suspect.
So now that he's signing all young players,
I said like a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, I should say, when free agency came, that I actually liked what Howie Roseman did. What I was going to say is Doug Peterson says that he thinks Howie Roseman will lock down Fletcher Cox before training camp starts. So that's a good sign for Eagles fans. So basically, the strength of the defense, or the strength of the Eagles, is going to be their defense. Their weakness is going to be their offense. I see the Eagles' offense struggling pretty mightily going into this year. I know I said.
Well, yeah, they just gambled a lot of money on a D2 guy.
Sam Bradford gives them the best chance to win, but Sam Bradford is not going to win you a lot of games by himself. It's going to be
this season brought to you by Kleenex.
It's going to be based on the strength of that defense. Now, he's got minimal weapons now. I mean, especially with the departure of DeMarco Murray, who I think I said it a million times before, Chip Kelly didn't use properly. I would have liked to see what he could have done in an actual conventional NFL offense.
Yeah.
The running game, I mean, you're talking about Kenyon Barner, you're talking about Ryan Matthews and Darren Sproles. Those are going to be your three guys you're going to be seeing in the backfield. Obviously, Darren Sproles is not going to see much playing time because he's an older guy. Plus, he's more of a special teams return guy. Maybe you throw in a play or two there, he might get 5 to 10 touches a game. But then you're talking about your premier backs being Ryan Matthews and Kenyon Barner. Ryan Matthews being injury prone, and Kenyon Barner not really impressing me so much last year. They're going to be splitting carries. I mean, the running game is probably going to be pretty weak, especially with the condition of the Eagles' offensive line. And then as far as receivers go, I mean, Zach Ertz is probably going to be your biggest weapon, I think.
Over Jordan Matthews, you think?
Because Jordan Matthews drops a lot of balls, and
sure does.
He's going to be moving to the outside. I mean, Ruben Randle, Doug Peterson was saying some pretty good things about Ruben Randle, but he's not a number one. The Eagles don't have a number one. And then you got guys like Josh Huff and Nelson Aguilar, who didn't do much, and Nelson Aguilar
Didn't do squat.
He needs to step up. He needs
It was
to
his
step
rookie
up.
year, though. It was his rookie year. Not everybody's Odell Beckham.
I'll give him
or Mike Evans.
Shut up. Nelson Aguilar, you need to step up and prove that you were drafted in the first round last year, because other than that, the Eagles don't really have much. They don't have a lot of weapons on offense.
All right, but I got to jump in here, right? Because we're already up over an hour, and I'll try and keep it cut short to about a half hour, because I feel like I never get to talk about the Giants, because I try not to a little bit sometimes. But
you talk about the Giants more than you think you do.
No.
All right,
Yeah, I was about to say that.
no,
Nah. He's like, no.
no, I can tell
when
you.
we first started
I can
off-
tell you what those players had for breakfast today. I do not talk about the Giants as much as I want to talk about the Giants. But look, when
let's
it comes,
be glad that you show some reserve.
when it comes to the Giants, right? I mean, our strong suit is got to be Manning and then wide receivers. All right. Now, you don't know what's going to go on with Cruz, but I mean, you got Beckham. I think so does everybody else.
Although, if it's true and the reports are true,
Oh, he's looking good.
and
he's
dating a Kardashian, he's gonna fall
They're
off.
saying no. He's saying he's not dating her.
Good.
He's saying they're friends. But anyway, they got Sterling Shepard in the second round, and I mean, he's pretty much a. It seems like he could be a replica of Victor Cruz.
Yeah.
That's what people want. You got Dwayne Harris there to mostly play special teams, but I mean, real nice mix. But one of the biggest weaknesses, and this weakness can destroy the entire team, that is the offensive line. I mean, I agree. The Giants have used a lot of high round draft picks over the years on this offensive line, and it is trash. It is trash. I'm sorry. It's one of the worst in the division. Not the league, but it's definitely at least
division.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst line in the division, I think. I'm sorry. I mean, but especially when you're looking at
an opinion.
the Cowboys line. Well, no, it's not an opinion. It's a fact. It's a fact. They got Brandon Marshall at right tackle. Brandon Marshall got Aaron Rodgers killed.
You speak of that.
Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
Wow.
That receiver
Marshall
for the
Newhouse. Marshall Newhouse. Yeah, well, I don't think he'd be too good at right tackle either, Brandon Marshall, as much as I
But you also talk about that Dallas line being so good, right?
What was that?
You talk about the Dallas line being so good last year, right? Well, how did Tony Romo get hurt?
Oh, absolutely. No, but I'm just saying Marshall Newhouse is a joke.
You know, there's going to be good days and good bad days. There's going to be bad days.
They drafted Justin Pugh in the first round, had to move him to guard. They got Eric Flowers. He is made for the right side, playing a little bit out of position on the left. I know that's where they want him in the future. So, okay, he's probably... Now, I will say Weston Richburg is definitely the bright spot in this. I want Pugh to take over, but maybe it's just... With him being kicked inside to guard, that's just... it's just not a good. He was supposed to be a tackle. Do you know what I mean? He was drafted as a tackle, couldn't cut it as a tackle. They said when he was drafted, the knock on him where his feet weren't good enough to play tackle, and now he's in at guard. You got to be disappointed in that. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I know you're talking about this offensive line being the weakness, but I think the holes in your defense are gonna be the weakness here.
We'll get over there, dude. Now let's be honest.
I got
here.
another weakness for you too.
What's that?
Your running game.
Okay, well, the running game is an offshoot of the line. Now, the running game, I don't care if you got Walter Payton and O.J. Simpson back there. If you got no offensive line, you got no offensive line.
You also have Rashad Jennings as your premier back.
Rashad Jennings did phenomenal at the end of the year last year.
Yes, he did.
When the line...
that's why,
He's not... I mean, you got... Rashad Jennings is not... He's not that guy. I would still say he's a suspect running back for you guys.
No, he's not. Rashad Jennings is injury prone. Rashad Jennings is
isn't
injury
that
prone.
suspect?
Yeah,
That's
but what I'm
suspect.
saying is he can lead the team. And you forget, we got Shane Vereen. We got two
But he's a little older.
fullbacks that can catch out of the backfield. And Andre Williams, I don't know. But yeah, but the defense, I mean, the Giants are pretty much ripping off the Seattle Seahawks here. They've got one of the biggest defensive backfields back there right now. I'm talking tall guys, fast guys, aggressive guys. But that is a catch-22 because they're all the same player and they still don't have a true free safety. Yeah. All these guys want to go man up, which I love. They want to be gamblers. They want to go for that ball. But you win some, you lose some.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That's why I said that weakness is that the scattered holes in your defense.
We need a free safety and I mean the defensive line. Well, the linebacker. I mean, we drafted a linebacker. We got Devon Kennard, who was injured last year. I mean, our linebacker is always. Lately, I mean, it seems like ever since we lost from Jesse Armstead, then you got Antonio Pierce later on. Ever since Antonio Pierce, and in between the two, that's a pretty big hole. I mean, we had Chase Blackburn.
And is JPP going to be able to perform without the power glove?
I think so. I think JPP will make a step forward. I think the defensive line, to be honest, is going to be fine. Snacks Harrison. We're going to have Odigizua coming back from injury. JPP, Olivier Vernon. I mean, there is.
So that the defensive line doesn't sound bad. That's why I'm saying, there's a couple holes in your secondary that would be, needed, to balance it out.
The Giants are the best team in the world.
That's why I'm saying with the weakness, especially with, Des Bryant, you got going, and then the running game over in
just
Dallas.
Like that, we're set up to play Des Bryant. We are. Our defensive backs are set up to cover Des Bryant.
But what about the short little Cole Beasley? That's 5'8", little speedster.
That's where Eli Apple's going to be playing. Eli Apple, number 1 draft pick, number 10 overall out of Ohio State.
5'10", right?
No. He is 6 foot, maybe 6'1".
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody back there, real big. Eli Apple, third Buckeye taken in the draft. All 3 in the top 10 right there. So he's going to be playing in the slot. He's going to be going up against guys like Beasley, and I think he can outmatch Beasley every time. I think this kid might be able to outmatch some tight ends. If we get a free safety, I think our defense, like say if we would have been able to get Eric Weddle in free agency, our defense would probably be really nice. Can't say that without the free safety. We ain't got no tight ends. And, well, not that we don't have any tight ends. Larry Donnell, injury plagued. Who knows if, what was the kid? Will Tye, who knows what his second year is going to be coming out of Tulane. I mean, he was the first, he got his first he was like the first real person out of Tulane.
Just to kind of touch up and I guess a wrap up on that question I had about those holes in that defense. Who of these rookies that you got in the linebacker and the secondary are most likely to really perform for your team and become a top performing player on that squad?
Well, that would definitely be Eli Apple. Eli Apple mirrors Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie a lot. Do you know what I mean? So you could really see him. They got some good. I mean, now they got Jenkins out there too. Do you know what I mean? I think he's in a perfect situation. He can come in as the nickel. Do you know what I mean? He could beat up on little guys like Cole Beasley, get coached up by those guys on the outside. DRC is nearing the end of his deal, probably nearing the end of his career. He plays through injury, but he's always beat up.
Given the chance to leave a comment and everything, spread the word and know that your viewership is very much appreciated.
Absolutely.
And hopefully that you're enjoying yourself as much as we enjoy providing this content for you.
I don't know. I didn't have too much fun tonight. This camera's acting like a piece of crap. I have no idea what the people on camera